to put more pressure on your job. And there's two ways that that happens. Some people put pressure on their job by putting pressure on their boss for more hours, putting pressure on their boss for more raises. And if they don't get those raises and they don't get those promotions, then they start changing their work ethic because they're pissed off that they cannot go any further in this company, considering it a glass ceiling or a rooftop environment where you've hit the best that you're going to get here. And once you realize that, you hate your job because you need more money and you can't get it, and then you got to go get a second job. Um, the other thing is that if you're working for yourself, you'll see situations where you start raising the prices unbelievably high, trying to offset the need for financial stability, which compromises the consistency of your customer base, which will prevent you from making the amount of money that you was making on a stable basis. Because when the price starts getting too high, your regulars stop coming. And then when your regulars stop coming, you don't have a consistent source of income. Now, granted, the more money you charge for something, the less you have to work to make the same amount of money. But if you're trying to make more money and all you're doing is reducing your customer base and sometimes reducing your customer base and your overall monthly profit, you're now having a harder way to go with your standard of living because you're trying so hard to make more money to do whatever it is that needs to be done in your personal life. So here on this and that, where then on Sunday we do questions and comments from the fans. All of the stuff that impacts your personal life, we cover that on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and all the stuff that impacts your business life, we cover that on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And that brings a holistic picture where anything in your life that is inside of your control that you can improve, we're going to cover that. And then we're going to tell you how this impacts your money and what you can do about it. Because we're not about finding problems. This isn't a bitch session. This isn't misdirected rage. This is first person accountability and first person responsibility, where you should be able to make money for yourself, and you should be able to do it in multiple different directions. And one of the goals that we want to do is tune you guys into all of the opportunities that exist that you didn't even think about, that you didn't even know about, that you could make money easily, where it's not like, oh man, I got to get off of my job and go break bricks to make extra money. No, you literally could just leave your computer running while you're not at home and go do what you got to do, and it'll start making money for you. There's things like that that do exist, and as we find them, we tell you guys about it so that y'all can look into it and see how well it works for you. I try my best to find the cheapest things, the things that either have no startup cost or very little startup cost. Some things that have very little startup costs have a lot of effort. So I'm trying to find a balance between very little effort and very little startup costs. Because if you can get in there where maybe an hour a day, 7 days a week, and within 30 days, you start getting like 1 to 5 sales a month. It's not a lot of money for a lot of people, but if you find something like that and you're not one of those government workers that just got shut down, you can work your full-time job and you can scale that up. And in the course of a year, you got a second income. And all it takes is for you to start doing something like that today. If it's something that if you're working your full-time day and then you're normally at the house playing video games in the afternoon, instead of you putting 1 hour a day into that project, if you put 4 hours a day into that project, instead of you getting 1 to 5 sales a month, you might start making 100 sales in a month because you're doing 4 times as much work 7 days a week on your time off, which expedites your ability to be successful. So if you might have would have been successful in 90 days, you might be successful in 30 days because you're moving 4 times more work. See what I'm saying? And these are the things that we don't consider. These are the things that we don't think about. And because we don't consider these things and we don't think about these things, we do not have another way to make money. If our primary job tells us don't come back to work until Donald Trump makes a move, we don't come back to work. We just don't have a way to make money. And that's not good for us. So, here on this and that, where we talk about this, that, and everything in between, we also talk about so many different things that will bring money into your pocket. Then we tell you once you got extra money, where to put your money so that you can make extra money for yourself so that you always have enough money. Now, if you're watching us on YouTube, Michael's watching the comment section. Special shout out to Michael. Um, but if you're watching us from Twitter, X, or if you're watching us from Twitch, this is a highly interactive podcast. So if y'all throw out some shout outs in the comment section, keep them appropriate. You'll see them over here off to the side, and you'll also see them over here as I address them. And y'all can chime in. Y'all can ask questions along the way. If you find something out that's related to the topic, y'all can throw that in there. We can talk about that too. and highly interactive. Get involved. You might find yourself in a we have had it a couple times before. You might find yourself in a cross brand communication where somebody on Twitter is talking to somebody on YouTube, or somebody on Twitch is talking to somebody on Twitter. It just really depends. And then when we throw TikTok up here after the United States take control over it, you'll see a lot more individuals up in here being nosy, because they are wondering where we are, because we stopped. Soon as the government shut down, we stopped. We're like, nope, we're not even broadcasting on that till they figure out what they're gonna do with it. Everybody else was like, nah, we're gonna keep making ours. And I'm like, that's perfectly fine. But I'm not about to invest in that when I know that I've got to start over. So it's like, nope, thank you very much. I'm good. And then we'll go ahead and start everything over, because you got to get a new stream key. So we'll start everything over, and we'll go get that stream key from them, and then we'll try to figure it out from them. So let's go ahead and get things started today. Because it ain't what you think. It ain't what you think. It's really hilarious what we got going on. When the news of the government shutdown hits, the first thing that disappears is your peace of mind. And you already know this. Man, your income is frozen, but your bills definitely aren't. And that's why I was telling y'all the story about me and Mr. Pibbs earlier. It's a stressful, unnerving situation, and you need a plan right now. I should have gave y'all this plan like 5 weeks ago, but I just thought about it yesterday. Actually, I started thinking about it yesterday, and I started doing something about it today. That's what happened. And that feeling of seeing your paycheck delayed while your bills keep coming is one of the most destabilizing things that anyone can face. And I know that a lot of us have not experienced this since COVID. So these individuals that's doing this 45-day shutdown scenario, they might be 2 months in the shutdown scenario. We're not in a good spot. You feel me? The uncertainty is the worst part. I know y'all gotta agree with me. Is this gonna last another week, another month, or even longer? You're left in this weird limbo, unable to plan for the future because the present is suddenly on shaky ground. And this isn't just about numbers in a bank account. It's about the deep, gut wrenching anxiety that comes with losing control. It messes with your sleep, your focus, your ability to just be present with your family. You're probably feeling a mix of anger, frustration, and helplessness. That is completely normal and totally justified. But I want to tell you something important. That feeling doesn't have to be your reality for this whole shutdown. While you can't control the politics that got us here, your ability to absolutely control your response to it is completely up to you. You can take back a huge amount of power over your financial life, and it starts today. Should have started a few weeks ago, but I know you needed a break. So, get you a little bit of a rest on. But in tonight's show, I'm going to give you a clear step by step playbook, not just survive, but to stabilize your finances, secure your household, and even generate some fast alternative income. And this isn't abstract financial theories, hypotheticals, hey, well, if. No, this is practical, actionable guides for the here and now. So you can take what I'm giving you tonight and put this shit into action in the morning. And we're going to build a bridge to get you to the other side of this shutdown with your finances intact. And in some situations, you might even find yourself with a second source of income that can help you bounce back, because a lot of y'all have reached a point where you have started taking out on loans. You started pulling money out of your savings. You started pulling money out of your penalty level savings. You started selling some of your stock markets low, guaranteeing permanent losses. And while some of that stuff might give you a tax deduction, some of those losses might give you a tax deduction. Not all of them will. And if we could give you something that can sustain you right now while no money's coming in, and you can keep doing that after you go back to your regular job and do this on the side. You will be able to have extra money coming in, which will not only increase your financial standards, it will help you recover and recuperate from any catastrophic decisions you had to make during the last 4 weeks. So the problem, government shutdown creates a unique and particularly cruel financial challenge. Unlike a typical job loss where you might get severance pay, unemployment compensation and stuff, and can start looking for a new job, a shutdown traps you in limbo because you're still technically employed, which makes it hard to look for another full time work. You're expected to be back at your desk the moment this ends. So you can't really commit to another employer, and yet your income's vanished. So for many households living paycheck to paycheck, this is a code red emergency. A recent Federal Reserve report highlighted a stark reality. 37% of adults would struggle to cover an unexpected $400 expense using cash. When your paycheck is suddenly eliminated, it can trigger a domino effect. Missed mortgage payments, late fees, growing credit card debt, and watching your savings disappear. On top of that, you're dealing with a completely unknown timeline. The uncertainty can paralyze you. Do you dip into your retirement savings? A move with a serious long term penalties? Do you take on high interest debt just to keep the lights on? The stress is even worse for essentials. Employees who have to keep working without pay because if you don't show up because you ain't got no paycheck, you ain't got no job. And then when the government come back, you ain't got no job. And certain jobs, when you get fired, you get blacklisted in that industry, which means no other employer will hire you for that. So you still have the cost of commuting, the time commitment of a full time job, but with zero income. Feels completely unfair. I know. Tonight's show is designed to cut through the fog. It's a game plan. And we'll break this down into two clear phases. First, we'll stop the bleeding with immediate defense actions to protect whatever you have left. Second, we'll go on offense, exploring practical, fast ways to get cash in the door. You are not helpless. You have options, and we are going to walk you through them step by step. Now, the game plan is our approach for straightforward building for a crisis that you will be able to utilize now and reutilize in the future. And I hope that if you take my advice today and start implementing it now, that you will keep doing it after the shutdown is over so that you will never have to fear a shutdown again. What Kevin Gates said, recession proof, you need to build up a level of financial stability where there's multifacets of income coming in so that you don't have to suffer. Now, we're not talking about complex investment strategies or 50-year-old retirement plans. Our focus is on immediate financial triage and rapid income generation. So think of your finances like a ship that has started to take on water. Our first priority is to patch the leaks. Our second is to start bailing the water until we can get to the main engine and make that start running again. To do this, we're going to follow a clear 7 step plan. And these steps are in specific order for a reason. We have to secure our foundation before we start building something new. So, part one is all about securing your finances. This is our defense phase. Here, we'll cover your first 4 steps immediately. Slash your spending, protect your credit, and make every dollar you have work harder. These are the moves you need to make in the first 24 to 48 hours after a missed paycheck. But since that's not the case now, because y'all done missed like 3 or 4 paychecks right now, you need to start putting that into action right now so that you can start juggling whatever you got left. So, step one, that financial triage. We're getting a crystal clear picture of exact financial positions. This is going to help you figure out what all you got and how far you think that's going to go. Step two is going to be your shutdown budget because we will ruthlessly cut all non essential spending, which is what I told you guys to do if you were doing a slash and burn budget in order to uh, bring yourself down from the 95% spending limit down to like a 45% spending limit where you can have 55% of your income available to you. That same method works here. Step three, you're going to want to contact your creditors and we'll proactively call lenders to ask for relief and avoid penalties. Outside of that, because if you don't call them and you just miss the payment, you're done. But outside of that, I found out places, well, for you guys that are veterans like Navy Federal and USAA, they got programs out there that is helping military agents with financial coverage during a shutdown until money starts coming in. You just have to apply for it. And if you qualify, you'll get it. So contact your local Navy Federal or your local financial institution, especially if it's a military related financial institution, and see what benefits they have to offer for you. Because while you might have been living on savings or living off pension or living off of extra money that you had, now that you know that you can contact some of your financial institutions and get involved in some of their financial assistance programs until the government comes back, you can now get in on it late because you still qualify for it and it'll stretch your money even further, which will give you a little bit more relief. Step four, tapping into those emergency resources. We're going to talk about the right way to use your savings and find other help. Now, part two is about generating quick cash. This is our offensive phase. Once we stabilize your finances, where you'll be good for a minute, we'll shift focus to actively bring in the money. And these steps are about being resourceful, creative, and fast. Step five is going to be the gig economy sprint because we're going to dive into on demand work that you can start almost immediately. Very little setup required, if any, utilizing whatever resources you already have accessible to you to just hit that ground running. And then step six is going to be monetizing those skills. We're going to look at how you turn your talents into freelance income in addition to everything else. Step seven is going to be the asset flash sale because in addition to monetizing your skills, we're going to cover how quickly you'll be able to turn stuff that you already own that you don't need into cash. Speaking of, Michael has been in the state sales. He goes places and he buys stuff that other people don't need anymore. Typically, it's stuff that's in good quality and it's resellable. Likewise, you could do the same. You could take your stuff and resell it. I have found if you're in the Florida area that a website called Tampa Free Cycle exists where people give away nice things because they're moving and they can't take it with them, or it's just taking up space. They bought something new and they don't need the one that they have. You can get on that app, scroll through, and find places in your area where they are literally giving it away for the time and effort it takes for you to come and get it. You don't got to pay them any money. You don't have to do anything except for meet them when they're available. And some people will just put it outside the house, and all you got to do is just drive by, put it on the back of the truck, and just drive off with it. And the fact is that if you put enough effort into collecting enough free stuff, even if you're selling it at thrift store prices, even if you're selling it at Goodwill prices, you picked it up for nothing and sold it for something. You're turning over a profit short the gas it took for you to go out there and go get it. I'm just trying to let y'all know. Make sure y'all like and subscribe as y'all come through here. Hit that follow button on Twitter if you are watching the show right now, because you're going to benefit from this. I can guarantee it. And then after we finish doing that asset flash, we're going to start following the rest of this process that I'm going to go through. And I want to make sure that you understand that this is for you, because not knowing where your next dollar is going to come from and living off of a limited quantity of income, knowing that you don't know where a hard feeling to have. But once you know that you have at least enough income coming in right now where whatever you have will hold you over until whatever you can get gets gotten, you'll find yourself in a better position. You'll find yourself feeling so much better. So each step you complete will build your confidence and strengthen your financial footing. So I want to get started with the most critical first step, the financial triage. Part one will be securing your finances. So in the financial triage, you want to know every dollar that you have. When a crisis hits, the first rule is to know what you're dealing with. You can't make a plan if you're just guessing. So this isn't the time for, I think I have about. You need a hard number. This process, which I call the financial triage, is about accounting for every liquid dollar you have right now. Not about judgment, it's about data. So, first, open a new spreadsheet or just grab a notebook. Pick up the notebook tab off of your Samsung. If you are an unfortunate individual who is suffering with the iPhone, my condolences, but uh, you can find one of those notation apps in your cell phone. And then we're going to start making a simple inventory of your immediate cash. And you want to list these out, your checking accounts, pull up all of your banking apps, all of your fintech apps, or go to the main website. Write down the exact current amount, no rounding, dollars and cents. You've got to be exact. Then you want to go to your savings accounts. Do the same thing for all of your savings accounts. If you have different accounts for different goals, you list them all. Doesn't matter. For now, all savings are part of your emergency pool. Anything that you can literally access right this moment is all part of your emergency pool. Physical cash. If you're smart, you have some. Check your wallet, check your car, the jar on the dresser, in between the couch cushions, the change on the floor, the money in your pocket in the washer and dryer, the check the lint drawer in your dryer. Um, if you're even smarter and you've got safes in your house with cash in your house, count it all up. Add that into your list. Every dollar counts. And while we're talking about it, after the shutdown is over, after your income starts coming back in, after you've restabilized your household, go buy you a wall safe or a closet safe or a floor safe and start putting cash in your safe in your house for times like this. It ain't got to be a lot of money. It ain't got to be a lot of money. 1 to 5% of your income. Literally, if you're bringing back, $4,000 a month, you should be able to put 40 to $400 into that safe. I would say like 40. If you're making $4,000 to $8,000 a month, you should be able to put $40 to $80 a month into that safe. And reason being is because in addition to the government shutdown, some people live in some states that have power outages. And when there's power outages, there's no internet. When there's no internet, the credit card machines don't work. When the credit card machines don't work, you can't buy gas at the gas pump. You can't buy gas at the register. It's not just about buying groceries. You need gas to get to and from work. Even with some of these side hustle gigs that we're about to start talking about, some of these are going to require you to use your car. If you don't have cash to put gas in your car, you're going to be up a creek without a paddle. You can go to Timu and go spend $125 for a 20-gallon gas can, which is fantastic to help you out, but that's only going to get you so far. If you buy a 20-gallon gas can when you're not in trouble and you got 20 gallons of gas to help you out until something changed. 20 gallons, like I said, only going to depending on the size of your vehicle. If you got a 10-gallon gas tank, that's two fill-ups. That's about 600 to 700 miles. But if you've got a 15 to 20-gallon gas tank, that 20 gallons of gas on the side is only one fill up. And them gas guzzlers will give you about 250 miles to that 20 gallons of gas. So you're not going to get very far without turning over a profit. So if you put some cash in your safe, and the reason why I say in your safe is because if there's a fire or if there's a flood, the safe will keep the money protected for the most part. And then you can come to the safe after the house has been salvaged and then go and get your money out of the safe if that turns out to be the case. But all the rest of the time, you good to go because you could just open the safe, take the money out, go make it do what it do. So that's your plan of action is get you a safe. And then, like I said, 1 to 5% of your money, put it in that safe. All the rest of your money, you can leave it in the bank that you're going to have for your emergency funds and everything to that effect. And then everything else that you invest in Roth IRAs, 401ks, this, that, and the third, stock options, Bitcoin, gold and silver, all this other stuff. You're moving your money in all these places because you've already secured your immediate accessible cash. So while we talk about that, I just want to cover that. Now, you got any prepaid gift cards? Do you have any Visa or American Express gift cards from your birthday? What about cards from your main grocery store or a gas station card? Something like that. List them and the balance that they have. Because however much the balance is versus the available credit, that shows how much you got left. This is the money that you can use without touching your bank account. Cash in the house, cash on gift cards, cash on what is it, prepaid secured cards that like those Visa gift cards that have like no expiration on usage, but once you use the money on it, you can kind of like throw that card away kind of thing. Those that's the stuff that you have to use before you start pulling money out of your bank account. Your bank account is the money that you have to use before you start pulling money out of your stock options and retirement plans and everything to that effect. So there's a method to our madness here. And this is going to be your tool for immediate cash on hand. And this is the starting point. It's your lifeline. So seeing it written down, no matter how big or how small, is going to remove the uncertainty and give you a real number to work with. Next, right below that, let's list your other financial assets. We're not touching these yet, but we need to know what's there. This is going to include any emergency funds. If you have a dedicated emergency fund, list the balance separately. This is your main buffer. We'll talk about how to use it in step 4. Investment accounts. Note the current value of any non-retirement brokerage accounts. Just remember, selling these isn't instant and has tax implications. Retirement accounts like 401ks and IRAs write down the balance. I want to be crystal clear. Tapping into retirement funds is an absolute last resort, and it comes with huge penalties and taxes and can damage your financial future. So we're just noting its existence. We're not executing anything with it unless we have no other choice. Finishing this triage step can bring both anxiety and relief. The number might be smaller than you think, but that can be scary. Now, it's a known quantity that you've calculated. So the fear of the unknown is almost always worse than reality. And once you've reached that reality, you're no longer afraid. You can now make smart, informed decisions. So you've stopped flying blind and winging it, trying to figure things out. So now let's figure out how to make that money last. Because now we're going to step 2. We're creating the shutdown budget, cutting all non essentials. So you know how much cash you have. Now your mission is to slow down how fast it's leaving your account. This means creating a shutdown budget, a bare bones plan for survival. The goal is simple only pay for what absolutely is necessary for your family's health and safety. Everything else gets paused or eliminated immediately. This isn't about cutting back little, it's about being ruthless. This is temporary, but necessary. Open that same notebook and let's divide your expenses into two columns: essential and non essential. Essential expenses, these are the bills you must pay to keep your life stable. They usually fall into four major categories: shelter, because that's going to cover your mortgage or your rent, keeping a roof over your head, got to be priority number one. Utilities, basic electricity, water, and heat. You need the lights on and the water running. And now that we're creeping into winter, you're going to need some heat if you're living up north. Food and groceries. And I mean essential food from the store, not restaurants or DoorDash, canned goods and everything else. Michael said your needs versus your wants. And we got to really decide the difference between the two, because once you start deciding the difference between your needs and your wants, you start coming to find out that if you get rid of a lot of your wants and stick to a lot of your needs, you can save more and invest more, and then you'll be able to uh, increase your financial success a whole lot easier. And it also regulates more of your impulse buying. Now, transportation, that's going to be another one of the major columns on your list. He said roadkill. You are not eating roadkill, bro. You are not eating roadkill. Transportation is going to be another one of those things on your list. If you have a car payment, if you need the car for essential travel, you're looking at gas and basic car insurance. If you don't need the car for essential travel, if you can catch the bus, you can probably suspend your license, but not suspend your license, suspend your car insurance. I was thinking about, if you suspend your car insurance without turning in your plate, they'll suspend your license. You would have to suspend your license or suspend your insurance and turn in your plate. But that would only be done if you don't need the vehicle at all, and this is going to be like a 3 or 4 month situation. Uh, but in some states, to get your license plate back, it's only like $50. So it's up to you if you're going to do that. But if you're going to maintain it, you got to calculate these things. He said dogs and cats. Well, at least dogs and cats, you took good care of them. So when you cook them up, it's not going to be like venison. It's not going to be like wild game. It'll taste like egg rolls and shrimp fried rice. That's dirty. Somebody going to be like, you talk bad about my country? No, sir, I did not. I just made a pun. If you know what it refers to, like and subscribe. List the minimum payment for each thing that you guys got to pay for. We're going to talk about negotiating. And when we're going to negotiate these in the next step, you'll know exactly what you're going to be benefiting from. But for now, just get the baseline numbers. Also include any non negotiable payments like child support, probation, DUI class. Um, y'all think I'm bullshit. No, y'all got to note that stuff. Cost of court, you know, bankruptcy court, whatever not non-negotiable expenses you got to pay. Taste like table scraps. No, dogs and cats do not taste like table scraps. They taste like Taco Bell. You need to get it right. That grade F meat that they be putting in their burrito. um, Now for the non-essential expenses. This is everything else, and I mean everything else. You want to go through your last two bank statements and hunt down every subscription and discretionary habit. Her weave, your wig, your lace front, all that's gone. Fake nails, all that's gone. Push up bras, all that's gone. Well, y'all taking hits, makeup, all that's gone. That is not essentials. If it is not on the original essentials list, it's getting cut. Netflix and Hulu gone, Spotify gone, YouTube Premium gone, Gym memberships is gone. Subscriptions to boxes is gone. You're canceling everything. You can always sign back up later. You can call your hairdresser and delay the appointment until December. You'll be all right. You just right now, it ain't happening. You need to be walking around with your bonnet on. Like, bitch, don't try me. Eating out and entertainment is going to be another thing. This goes all the way to zero. No coffee shops, no takeout, no happy hour. If you really need coffee that bad that you're not going to take you to B12 and take your ass to work, go buy you some great value coffee from Walmart and make you some damn coffee at the house. Big ass 36-ounce thermos of coffee from one of them little cups. $48. That's 48 36 ounce cups. Actually, the big box is $48, and that's 96 cups things of coffee. 96 36-ounce cups of coffee for $48. You can't beat that. That's like what, 50 cents a cup? Sheesh, sheesh. You said the second car is gone. Shoot, I ain't even start talking about selling shit yet, but you're right. That second car is sold. Live like a poor man. Oh, no, no. You're living like a rich man because rich men save money by not wasting it. So you're gonna live like a rich person right now. You only gonna spend money on what you need, and then everything else you getting rid of because you don't need that. He says send your email through the mail. Now, how are you gonna send your emails through the mail? First of all, you wasting money on paper by going through the mail. But you can turn all of your paper mail into electronic uh, messages and save you money on paper. And some companies that you do that with, when you quote unquote go green, they give you like a $5 or $10 discount or something like that for going green, so you don't have to do that. Oh, he said it's a pun. Well, technically, yeah, because that's going in reverse. You're going from emails to mail. Yeah, that's true. I get what you're saying right now. Now this it's going to be time to get creative with your free entertainment now because you're not about to, if you need something to occupy your time, you're going to be doing tic-tac-toe on a whiteboard in your house or something like that. Y'all going to be playing jacks. Y'all going to be figuring out what pong feels like. Y'all going to be you know what I mean, hopscotch in the front yard. You're going to use a rock to draw the spaces of, and then do the hopscotch in the front yard. That's what's got to happen. Shopping. All non-essential shopping stops. So she ain't buying nothing else from Amazon. Amazon Prime is gone. She ain't doing nothing from UPS. She ain't getting nothing from DHS. She not getting no Alibaba. You turning off all them apps and probably deleting them off your phone so that she can't order nothing. No new clothes, no new electronics or home goods. If it's not food or something critical like toilet paper and hand sanitizer, you don't buy it. No hair gel, no moisturizer. Stop it. Okay. Cable and premium internet. I don't even know why the fuck you got that. Cox cable is expensive as hell. You need to call your provider and cancel it. But if you don't feel comfortable with canceling it, at least downgrade it to the basic. Cheapest internet only plans is what you can get. And me, I got the most expensive plan because I can call them and tell them that my podcast glitched, and they're going to take $150 off of my $307 bill, and I'm only paying $150, and I done already paid the $150, so I get some free months. Woot! All because they decided to service the tower when I was doing my podcast. He said, or I bought over $1,000 in unused, what is that, postal stamps for $50. Most are sheets, collector sheets, but you can sell that. You bought $1,000, which means if you sell those at 55 cents a stamp, or is it 65 cents a stamp right now? You sell those, make you some money. All right. Okay, most of your entertainment can come from the internet. Yeah. until you downgrade your internet service, most of your entertainment gonna come from you staring at four walls. You better sit on your porch and close your eyes. Now, automatic savings, we had this set up to increase your savings opportunities, let the money come out of your account before you start spending it. You're going to have to pause all automatic transfers to your savings or investment accounts. Got to cut those out for right now. Your top priority now is cash preservation, not wealth building. Oh, he said, I make profits, sell at one third the face value. That's good. That's good. Then forever stamps be expensive as some bitch. Now, add up all your essential expenses. This is the total your shutdown monthly burn rate is. This is the minimum amount you need to survive for 1 month. Take your total immediate cash on hand from step one and divide it by this burn rate. This tells you how many months you can last if your income stays at zero. This calculation is your new reality and it's a powerful tool. It tells you exactly how urgently you need to get to generating new income. This process is tough, but it's empowering. You are no longer just watching your bank account drain, you've seized control. So now let's see if we can shrink those essential costs even more. Well, no, you're not dividing it by 13. You're not dividing it by 13. So if you take the total quantity of money that you have and divide it by the amount of money you have to spend, it'll tell you how many months you can spend that. So let's say that you find out that your monthly expenditures is about $1,500 a month total. If you had, say, $10,000 of accessible cash, and that's a lot. The average American usually only has like 5,000 or less. But if you said that you had about $10,000 of expendable cash and you had $1,500 of guaranteed monthly expenditures that you have to pay, if you divide 10,000 by 1,500, you're probably going to get about 4 or 5 months. You're really only trying to survive the shutdown. And if the shutdown already cost you 1 month, and you're probably only going to get like 2 full months before the government is back up and running. Hopefully, we should be back up and running before January. So if you've got more than 2 months worth of income on standby, you're pretty good to just take time off from work and just sleep. But you would prefer to get back on that level. So you're trying to make extra money while you're not at work. And this is the best time for us to figure out a way to navigate that. So you're not just dividing it by 13, and he's saying 13 because it's 13 months in a year, but we're talking about you talk about 13 months like the government gonna be shut down for the rest of 2026. What you mean? Because the government shut down in October in 25. We're not about to be still unemployed in October of 26. If the government keeps going this direction, it's going. But you do make a good point, though. Prepare for the future. But knowing that if you had 10 grand worth of accessible cash in all of your savings accounts, checking accounts, safe in the house, money under the couch, and all this other stuff, and you were spending $1,500 a month on guaranteed, I got to spend this no matter what I do. And that's what, like I said, maybe 5, 6 months of guaranteed, like you're going to spend that. It's October. You didn't already spent for October. You got like 4, 5 months left worth of money of essential spending, which will carry you into like March. That means you got plenty of time for the government to get up and running, but you have plenty of time to make you some extra money. That's what we wanted to talk about today. Uh, a bicycle would probably be better than a public bus because a public bus is going to cost you money. And if you don't get a month-long bus pass, depending on what city and state you're in, you're going to be paying a fare per bus. And if you're doing 2 to 4 buses per trip, you might end up paying the same quantity of money per month that you would have been paying to get an Uber or a Lyft to take you where you had to go. Likewise, You have to balance whether or not you're going to use your personal vehicle versus using public transportation versus using personal cabs and rideshare programs by determining how much it costs to maintain your car versus how much it costs to not have to maintain your car. Because if you don't have to go to that many places, you could cancel, like I said, cancel your car insurance and turn in your license plate and then leave your car parked in the yard for 5 months and only pay for a cab when you need it. But if you're using a cab every day, you might as well drive yourself. If you got to use public transportation every day, you might as well drive yourself. If where you got to go ain't that far and you can get on a bicycle and take your ass to work, you could park your car, turn in your car insurance and your license plate, and get you a bike from the pawn shop for $25 and ride that bike for the next 5 months and save you some money. You might turn that into a habit and never put your car back on the road for the next 9 months to a year and build up a ton of money because your car insurance is usually costing you 500 or more dollars a month just for the car and 400 to 600 a month for the gas. So you might save $1,000 a month on not using your car. Because worst case scenario, if you don't get hit on your bicycle, you spending like $10 on tires for the year with flats, 15 with fix a flat kits, extra money. He says, "Sell my sister, please." And I know it's hard out here trying to get the money for the rent, but when the Cadillacs and gas money's spent, you're gonna see a whole lot of people jumping ship. I just hustle and flow. Now let's go ahead and talk to these creditors. The power of a phone call is huge. This next step can feel intimidating, but once you get started with it, it has one of the biggest impacts and it feels refreshing. The essential bills, especially right now during shutdown, is going to be your mortgage, car loans, student loans. These are not set in stone, especially right now in this government shutdown. Have, most lenders have hardship programs. But here's the secret, they won't offer them to you unless you ask. So even though the government screwed the pooch on the 1st of October, they did not call you on the 1st of November and say, hey, let me help you spend less money. Instead, they said late fee because you didn't pay on time. But if you call them, they will adjust your payments. Being proactive here can save you hundreds of thousands of dollars and protect your credit score. The key is to call before you miss a payment. You don't want to wait until you're already late because then you're doing a payment plan and you're getting negative marks on your credit score. You want to call before you miss a payment. Calling ahead shows that you're responsible and gives you more options. During past shutdowns, federal regulators have encouraged banks to work with affected customers. So here's your action plan. Make a list of your essential creditors, the mortgage lender, auto loan provider, student loan service, credit card companies, personal loan providers. And now, for each one, make the call. When you get someone on the line, because you don't want to talk to an automated system, use the same script. Hi, this is my name. I'm a federal employee affected by the government shutdown, and my income has been temporarily stopped. Calling to proactively uh, discuss my options for my upcoming payment. That's it. Then you need to ask about two key things: forbearance and hardship programs. Forbearance is an agreement to temporarily pause or reduce your payments. The payments aren't forgiven. They don't go away, they don't disappear. They're usually added to the end of your loan. You ask him, do you offer a forbearance program for furloughed federal employees? He said, this department is closed during the shutdown. No, it isn't because only the government is shut down and the bank ain't a government. Hardship programs can include things like waiving late fees or temporarily reducing your interest rates. What you ask them, what hardship programs do you have for customers impacted by the shutdown? And when you're asking what hardship programs for customers that are impacted by the shutdown, you don't necessarily have to be a government worker with that type of question. You just have to be impacted by the shutdown because you work for a company that was benefiting from government employees, and since the government don't got no employees, that business don't got no work, so you don't got no job. If you were a barista next to the White House and ain't nobody going to work no more, you're a barista on furlough because ain't nobody going to get no coffee. Be ready for the call with your account information. Be polite, be firm, don't be frustrated, don't get pissed off. A lot of times you're going to get some individuals that don't understand what Americans are going through. You got to be patient because a lot of time these call centers are offshore. Just saying, you're a good customer in a tough spot, and this is not your fault. It's Donald Trump's fault. Make sure you document everything. Okay, get the representative's name, the date, and any reference numbers or confirmation numbers that they give you. If they agree to a plan, ask them to send it in writing. They can verify with you and reassure you and everything to that effect, but you make sure that they send it to you in an email, mail you a confirmation notice. It, before you get off the call, they need to confirm that they have done this, that they've either processed something to get sent to you in the mail or that they sent you something in the email. If they sent you something in the email, don't get off the call until you see the email. You can wait because you ain't got nothing to do because you need proof of verification if the payment happens and negative recourse occurs. You are able to then have them undo any negativity on your account by notifying them that you had this call at this time, talk to this person, this is the reference number, everything that you need to prove that that transaction did occur. So I'm just helping you protect yourself. Now, these calls can feel awkward, but the reward is huge. One 30-minute to an hour call that pauses your mortgage for a few months could free up thousands of dollars, giving you a much longer runway and way less stress. Because if you already calculated that you had like $1,500 of expenditures off of $10,000, that might hold you over for 6 months. If your mortgage company will extend your mortgage for 3 months, where you ain't got to worry about paying your mortgage for 3 months, even if your monthly payments is going to be higher after the third month, you just gave yourself 3 extra months worth of money, or 2 extra months worth of money at least. Have all the documents in writing only. That's right. The digital copies, you have more power than you think. Make sure that you guys use it. What Reading Rainbow said, the more you know. And then G.I. Joe said, knowing it half the battle. G.I. Joe. You got to do these things, guys. Tap into your emergency resources is going to be the fourth step. Your financial safety net has already been established. Now that you've cut your expenses and talked to the creditors, you know exactly what your financial shortfall is. It's time to use your safety net, but in the right order to minimize any long term damage. First line of defense, the emergency fund. This is exactly what your emergency fund was built for when I was giving you all of those shows of advice related to establishing your emergency fund. If you have 3 to 6 months of living expenses saved up, now is the time to use it. There should be zero guilt in transferring money from your emergency fund to your checking account to cover the bills in your shutdown budget. This is the best money to use because it's yours, it's available, and it costs you nothing in interest or penalties. Second line of defense, community and nonprofit help. See, you thought I was about to start talking about the stock option. Fuck that shit. We're gonna go dig into the community and go and tiptoe into some nonprofit places that after the shutdown will be a good idea for you to donate to replenish their resources and get a tax write-off for helping them restock their shelves. But before you even think about retirement accounts or high interest debts, I want you to know you need to explore the assistance programs that are out there. Federal employee programs and organizations like Federal Employee Education and Assistance Fund, FEEA, often have small grants and non interest loans for federal employees during the shutdowns. Check their websites immediately. These funds can run out fast. And since I just started talking about it, it's going to run out even faster. He said the emergency fund is only in a life or death situation, only if you're totally out of money, a last ditch. Well, if your ass ain't getting no paycheck, you are totally out of money. And life's a bitch. So you're about to spend that emergency fund. You sitting over here talking about some, nah, that's all right. I'm gonna live in my van and eat Vienna sausages till the government get back up and running. Shit. I don't even feel comfortable not putting hot sauce in my ramen noodles. You tripping. Credit unions. Federal credit unions often offer you the best um resources in a shutdown. They are going to be your best friend right now. He said grants do not need to be paid back, and that's one of the reasons why I told you about them. I said grants first because grants are free money, and then non-interest loans, while you have to pay those back, they're not going to have interest payments on them, and you just pay the minimum payment that they want you to pay back. Take as long as you need to pay them back because there's no interest on that. As I told you before, many areas like Navy Federal, now we also have PenFed and Congressional Federal Credit Union. I'm going to have to sign up for the other two. So I got me some extra credit unions under my belt. Offer 0% interest loans for furloughed workers, often for the amount of your missed paycheck, which means that if you've missed a few paychecks, they might be able to give you a few of these. It's worth checking to see if you're eligible to join one of them. Now, these food banks that's out there is absolutely no shame in using a food bank. People got pride. They don't want to go out there. Send your wives. Send your kids. Y'all got teenagers. Send your kids out there to the food bank. Y'all got pride trying to make it seem like y'all too good to go to the food bank. But you wasn't filling your pantry with canned goods. Instead, you was getting a bunch of toilet paper. Toilet paper and hot sauce don't mix. Now you got to go down to the food bank and get you some groceries. Shoot. Programs like Feeding America have networks all over the country. Using a food bank can free up hundreds of dollars in your budget for other essential bills. And the one of the interesting parts about food banks, they do not keep inventory of who they give groceries to. So if you need a lot of groceries, here is a food bank hack. It'll cost you some gas money, but you can go to different food banks in different areas of different cities near you and just grab you one or two bags of groceries from each one of them. And then you will have enough stuff in your house to feed a small army and the pets. You will be good. And if you cutting out that $600 a month spending bill on groceries, you are freeing up a larger quantity of money to stretch your furlough a little bit further. Because if your emergency fund is in the bank, borrow from your own money and pay it a 3% rate of return. Okay, I like the way you think there. As treating your personal bank account, your emergency fund, as a third party loan agent. Whatever you borrow from it, you're mandatorily required to pay it back with interest. that will increase the quantity of money that you have in that budget before you stop putting money into your emergency fund. But if you're the kind of person that's forever trying to build your emergency fund, and you're always ending up with crises, uh, it doesn't matter if you pay it back with 3% or what. Uh, you're making larger payments towards your emergency fund to replenish it. If you're not putting like 75% of your money back into the emergency fund to replenish it, either way, you're going to try to get it back to where it was, if not slightly higher, so that you're prepared for the next time this goes down. Because it's going to happen again. Because we still got the December budget that we got to get before January. And if we don't get that together, you've got this shutdown followed by another shutdown. So since we in November, we might as well stay shut down till January. Shit. Just take the rest of the year off because Donald Trump is out there golfing all over the place. So I ain't trying to hurt y'all feelings. I'm just trying to tell y'all what's going on. It's the truth. Now, unemployment benefits. As a furloughed employee, you are likely eligible for some unemployment benefits. However, with all of the government agencies on skeleton crews, it might be a little bit harder to get it, even if you qualify for it. Benefits vary by state, but you can apply for it and it can provide you with a partial income replacement if you apply as soon as you can, because it can take an extremely long process to get. Typically, in my observations, because I used to see my homeboy do this on a regular basis, it usually takes two paychecks to get the first paycheck, and they only give you like 60% of your income. So whatever your salary was, you're going to get a percentage of it a month after you stop working. Now, if the government stops being shut down before you get that payment, you never get the first payment, and you went through all that trouble to go get it. So get on out there and go get it as quickly as possible. Just be aware you will most likely have to pay these benefits back when you get your paychecks back, but it is going to act as a critical interest free loan from the state in the meantime. He said, and banks don't schedule your payments monthly since they already have your money. Oh, well, you're talking about leveraging your personal bank account for a loan. You can do that too, but the bank will set you up as a secured loan and then they will schedule you some monthly payments. If they leverage you a line of credit, they might not have a fixed payment option. Uh, you also have the opportunity with PayPal. If you are a small business owner that is utilizing PayPal, and you're making more than $2,000 a month, which is about $24,000 a year, you can take a capital loan against the profits that you are getting. But if you're a government worker, you don't have that happening. But if you had your paycheck for some reason going through PayPal before it goes to your bank account, and you were making like 70, 80, 90, $120,000 a year, you could take out a capital loan from your PayPal account and use that to cover your expenses and then pay that back next month. But you would have to have money next month. But if you had like 70, if you had like an $80,000 a year paycheck coming in, and then you borrowed like 20 grand against a stone, and you held 10 grand to make payments or 5 grand to make payments, and you use the other 15 grand to cover your bills for the rest of the next 6 months, and that 5 grand will cover the first three payments, 3 to 5 payments, you'd be good to go. So by the time you got back to work, you would just finish paying off the rest of that loan and you'd be good to go. Now, the last resort is going to be the other savings and loans. Only after you've exhausted the options that I've told you about before, then you should consider these more drastic moves. Non-retirement investment. That's going to be the first thing that you're going to do. You want to cash out your stocks from your brokerage account, sell all your Bitcoin. That's an option, but be mindful of any taxes that's going to be involved with these particular types of actions. It's a bad idea to sell if the market is down, but if you need to, do it. Absolute last line of defense is going to be those retirement accounts. And I can't stress this enough because you have to avoid this if at all possible. But if there is no other choice, Withdrawing from a 401k or a traditional IRA before you are 59 and a half usually means a 10% penalty plus income tax. So you lose a lot. Yep, yep, you are right. 401k is a minus 10% plus income tax. So it can be devastatingly frustrating to your future, not to mention the quantity of money that you're taking out. So say you took out $10,000, it might cost you $11,000 and taxes, which might put you at $12,000. You say that's not a big blow. But if it took you 6 months to get that $11,000 or $12,000 into that 401k, and you're about to spend it for 2 months worth of living, you just set yourself back on your final retirement by 6 months. So it is pretty devastating. And a 401k loan is slightly better, but it is still going to be risky. Think of this as the breaking glass in case of a fire scenario. And this option is only true for dire emergencies. He says, it only hurts when the pocketbook is empty. It hurts just thinking about it. My heart skipped a couple of beats. Getting rid of the 401k. Yeah. By following this order now, you'll use the least expensive resources first, protecting your long term financial health while meeting your immediate needs. If you guys are finding this plan helpful, things that y'all didn't know existed that y'all can start looking into right now to get yourselves back on your feet, get yourself up and running again, take a second to hit the subscription button. Make sure that you guys like and subscribe. Turn on that notification button. Share this information with somebody that you know that might need it, somebody that might be able to benefit from it. The financial world is very unpredictable, but my goal is to give you the tools that you need to handle any challenge. And your subscription makes sure that you won't miss any future advice. Even if you're watching us on YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch, because on Twitter and Twitch, y'all can hit that follow button, click the heart button on the show that like. And y'all can still share it with somebody that you know. Y'all can grab a link off the show, grab it off of the URL and pass it on to somebody that you know. Like, shit, I didn't know this shit existed. It's there. Now, next step we're going to be dealing with is generating quick cash. That's where we get to step 5. You're going to come up here with a sideways ass advice. Best advice is don't go into debt if you can avoid it. You are not going to tell me that the 2 million Americans that are unemployed and the 900 or a million now unpaid workers can avoid not going into debt right now. Ain't nobody got no damn money, but their bills are still coming in. Everybody is going into debt. Not to mention the non-government workers who work for companies that profited primarily from government workers. The non-government workers got it even harder because the government worker exclusive benefits or compensations help government workers. But like I told you, if you work for that barista shop, if you were a server in the restaurant near one of the government buildings, if you had a any type of public service like a tailor place or a dry cleaner or something like that that was exclusively benefiting from government agents. And now there ain't no government agents. You can't go always asking for some assistance because you are not a government worker. Your customers was government workers. So those individuals find themselves going into debt right now because your operation has offset. You now have more expenses than you have profits because your profit is no longer coming in. Now, let's start getting into this gig economy sprint. Your fastest path to cash is about to hit right now. So, y'all stuck with me for this last hour. I'm glad that you did. So, we've passed the leaks of your financial ship. We cut the spending, talked to the creditors, mapped out our emergency resources. Now it is time to start bailing the water. We need to get cash flowing and we need to do it fast. Single best way to do this is what I've called gig economy sprint. Now, this means signing up for on demand service apps that let you earn money almost immediately on your own schedule. And since you ain't got shit to do, your schedule is free and open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, weekends and holidays right now. Your ass should be working on Thanksgiving this year. Probably would have been anyway. A bank robbery is not offering job. You know what? Part of me would love to do that as a prank, but the other part of me would be afraid of the felony charge that I would get for put an ad in the newspaper looking for experienced bank robbers, fast cash, high benefits, hazard pay. Stop. He said, I like that you're driven. You drive the big, got the hoodies. Looking for employees with experienced driving techniques. All right, first thing we're going to be talking about is ride sharing stuff. Now, I'm going to talk about quite a few of them right now. Well, not quite a few, just a few. Um, Everybody knows about Uber and Lyft. Uber and Lyft are the most common rideshare companies that everybody is thinking about because you can just take your car out the driveway, get out there, start making you some money. Sign up on the app, typically just show them the information that they need to verify you got some car insurance and that your car is within the last 10 years of age, and you can just get out there, start motoring it up, start making some money same day. Typically start paying you after the first week, but after I think the second week, they start paying you every day. Um, and both you most people who do Uber and Lyft full time have both the Uber and the Lyft app. And when Uber isn't good in one zone, they'll use Lyft, and when Lyft isn't good in one zone, they'll use Uber, and they just bounce back and forth. There is a sister app, and I don't remember the name of it, that you can get that merges Uber and Lyft uh, fares together, and you're good to go with that. No drug test. That's right, no drug test. Now, there's another one that had came out recently, but it's really out there in Georgia. So if you are a government worker and you're in the Georgia area, you can contact the Wolf Rideshare. They are private security transport rideshare service. So if you are a Fed that has firearm experience, you can contact the Wolf Rideshare app and make a little extra money driving people around as an armed security guard. So if you have a qualifying car, clean driving record, this can be the most profitable option for you. How to start is that you sign up and everything's done through the apps. You're going to need your license, your registration, proof of insurance. The background checks can take a few days to a week. Sometimes when I did it, it like started like early today and then finished this afternoon kind of thing. And like the longest it took was the screenshot stuff because their app doesn't do real good with getting the front and back of your driver's license. But how to maximize your earnings here is that during peak hours, usually in the morning in some areas, sometimes in the evening in other areas, and definitely on the weekends when everybody's out there partying, pay attention to the surges. Pricing when events occur is going to have surges in fares, which is going to multiply your wages. So instead of you getting paid a small amount of money per ride when things aren't busy, if you're working when it's busy or when weather sucks because they pay you more fares when the weather sucks, you will get larger fares. If you're going in areas that have a high demand and a low supply, you can get even more fares. If you get long distance trips, you get even more fares. You want to hang out near airports, popular restaurants, um, and local events. A good service tip that you can use is, hospitality, get you better tips. So proactively get your behind out of the car, open the door for them, pop the trunk, put their stuff in the bag. Some bring bottled waters with them on ice and offer people something to drink, stuff to that effect. Some have like mini game apps on the tablets and stuff on the back to give people stuff to play while they're in the back seat and everything to that effect. It's good to do. Um, you got to keep your car clean and you got to have your phone charged and you got to have a backup charger at all times because this is going to kill the battery on your phone. But it's a good way to make money real quick. It don't take a lot of effort to do. Uh, like I said, whatever happened to humans to converse with a real person, call the bank, hi, I'm Tony, push one for English. There ain't no such that when you call the first of all, you're talking to automated system, and the automated system is going to try to resolve your call before you even get a chance to talk to a real person. If you demand to talk to a real person with an automated system, some of them automated systems will hang up in your face like, "Well, if you don't want me to help you, bye bye for now." You be like, "Bitch, you gotta like really press like four for like the fraud department so that they can transfer you over to a real person." Then when you get to a real person, say, "Oh yeah, I was trying to work on my payment plan." Because the automated system ain't gonna help you with fraud. You're like, yep, I gotta report a lost or stolen card. Oh, let me transfer you to a representative. Then when you get on the phone with a representative, be like, hey, so right now, number two, food and grocery delivery. That's gonna be another one that's good. Uh, with Uber, since Uber has Uber Eats, you can do Uber driving and Uber Eats at the same time. There's also DoorDash, Instacart, Grubhub, Postmates. Not a lot of people know about that one. The barrier to entry here is even lower than Uber and Lyft because they don't give it. As long as your car can get you from point A to point B, you can pretty much drive whatever you want. You can often use an even older car, and in some cities, even a bike or a scooter can work because all your objective is to get the order from the restaurant to the customer. How you start here, something similar, signing up to the rideshare thing. It's often faster to get approved because they're not really doing a deep dive background check for delivery uh, as they would for passengers. Then you want to sign up for multiple apps at once because this is going to be essential for the next step. Remember to like and subscribe. And how you're going to maximize your earnings here is that you want to work the lunch and the dinner rush, usually 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. and 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. The key is multi-apping. There are some that just like with the rideshare apps, they have a multi-app situation. You want to run a couple of apps at the same time. While you're waiting for a DoorDash order, you might get an Uber Eats ping from the restaurant next door going in the same direction. This is how you really boost your hourly rate. If you're a person like me, you got multiple phones, you might be able to have a lot of them going on at the same time where you can just scoop this one up and scoop that one up on the way, and then you're doing more journeys at the same time. You're bringing in more money. Number three is going to be a task-based gig. You have TaskRabbit and Thumbtack. This now, first of all, before I go on to TaskRabbit and Thumbtack, if you're using DoorDash, Uber Eats, Postmates, or Instacart, you could um, utilize these apps, get paid same day. You go to work that day, you finish doing all your deliveries, you close out of the app, drop the money into your account, you're done. It doesn't have the same delay that Uber has when you're doing the Uber driver app. Create a ghost kitchen and deliver by drone, work from home. Technically, yes, but that means you have to build a customer base. You have to build a customer base. If you don't have a customer base, that's not going to work for you. But that's a fantastic idea to start up. That's a good business startup, a ghost kitchen. Next, like I said, task rabbit and thumbtack. This is where you can use special skills that you already have for short-term projects. How you're going to start something like this? You're going to create a profile that showcases your skills. You probably are going to be getting money off of Postmates, Uber Eats, Lyft, something like that in the meantime to give you daily cash. Because this situation is going to take a little bit of to do. But once you build your skills to showcase things like handyman services, furniture assembly, to anything, cleaning, yard work, or running errands, whatever it is, maximize your earnings here. You want to make your profile look professional with good photos. Check what others in your area are charging for the exact same work and price yourself competitively to get your first few jobs and build up good reviews. So if they're charging like $50 or $75 an hour, you want to undercut them real good so that customers will pick you up. That'll get you in quick. Real home cooked food, that'll work. Drop flyer in the mailbox, that'll work. Now, your sprint strategy, you don't just pick one, you sign up for everything that you're eligible for on the same day. Get the background check started uh, for Uber, Lyft, and DoorDash. Uh, while you're waiting, build your profile on TaxRabbit. The goal is to have a menu of options. By having the multiple apps ready, you can pivot to whatever is paying the most at any given moment and turn your free time into a cash generating engine. Okay, and then set up an online menu. What's the average cost for delivery of food? The average cost for you or the average cost for the customer? The average delivery is probably $25 to $50. The average tip is less than 10%. Um, depending on what area you're in. The quantity of gas that you spend for the drive is probably going to be $2 to $5 per customer. So if you made a $5 tip on a $50 order, that replaced the gas it took for you to get that order to that customer, unless you have a fuel efficient car. For the customer, yeah, it typically delivery apps start with minimum purchase mandatory requirements um, to waive delivery fees. And things like Walmart.com, Instacart, stuff like that. They're like, oh yeah, well, if you pay $35 minimum or $50 minimum, we'll take off this $6.99 or whatever fee for the delivery. That does not impact the delivery driver, but it boosts sales on the app. So the customers typically pay $35 to $50 per delivery plus tip, which is one of the reasons why you don't get tipped very often. Now, number six is going to be monetizing your skills and becoming a shutdown freelancer because that's going to be our next step, and it's really huge. The gig economy is often great for fast cash, but you also have to set up uh, a set of professional skills from your career that you're waiting to get back to that are already incredibly valuable. So it's time to become a shutdown freelancer. He said, "Tip my drone." If you're using the type of drone that has that or else option on it, you're looking at local terrorism because they don't have the tip. Now, this isn't about finding a new career, but it could actually change your work options. But it's about packaging your existing knowledge into short-term projects that you can do from home. So first, take stock of what you know. What do you do in your federal job? What are your hobbies? You might be a pro at writing and editing. You can offer to write a blog post, edit resumes, or proofread business documents. You could be a virtual assistant. If you're great at managing schedules or organizing data, small business owners are always looking for help in this area. You can do graphic design, and this can create presentations for you or social media graphics, IT and tech support. Because if you're the person everyone calls with a computer problem, you can offer remote tech support. Tutoring and teaching, also fantastic. I can verify that as well. If you're an expert in a certain subject or speak another language, tutoring students online, very good way to make easily accessible money. Your financial expertise could offer you basic bookkeeping for small businesses where bringing in a little extra cash every day, every week is the benefit. He said, or you can rent me for the holidays. Well, he would have to rent you out for the holidays because his goal is to turn a profit. Now, once you know your skills, you'll need to find some clients. And here's three parts of the plan to get those clients. Start off with some digital platforms like Upwork and Fiverr. Upwork and Fiverr is going to be a bit of a challenge, but it can be done. These are the biggest marketplaces for freelancers. Fiverr is where you create a gig, which is a pre-packaged service. Like, I'll proofread 1,000 words for $20. It's great for simple, defined tasks. You can negotiate. They can ask you, what would you do for 10,000, and you can give them a good price. But start off with something. Then on Upwork, uh, clients post jobs, and you submit a proposal. It's better for more complex problems and makes your profile strong and writes a custom proposal for every job that you apply for. You could try to do a generic copy and paste and just kind of tweak it a little bit for each one of the connections that you have, but you want to try to put up a different one for each one. You can use some AI for that because you can take their job offer, put it into the AI, and have it generate a proposal that suggests you're getting paid a specific quantity of money for a specific quantity of work, and then have the AI create a really uh, persuasive proposal that you can then copy and paste and provide it onto the app. Either way it goes, get that in there. Then you're going to be using some local and social media platforms, places like Facebook, LinkedIn, and Nextdoor. Don't forget about your own personal network. If you know some folks, let them know, hey man, government shutdown got me down. You know somebody, let me know. Give me some work. If you update your headlines to say that you're available for short-term freelance projects in whatever skill that you have, make a post announcing it, you will come to find that your network might also need help too. So you never know. If you don't check, you'll find out. Facebook is a good idea. Yeah, I know Facebook is a good idea. It's a super place to connect. I've fallen off of off of social media platforms. Facebook is like the new MySpace. MySpace has been around since forever, and people haven't really completely stopped using MySpace, but the current generation doesn't know anything about MySpace. But those of us that are using Facebook migrated to Facebook from MySpace, and um, yeah, it's a good place to get on and like get the word out. You just gotta make sure that you build up your network before you start trying to use your social media network to bring you in some money. Because if you got no followers, you're going to have to build up your followership first before you can build up your customer base. But from Facebook groups, you can join in local communities and small business groups. Post that you're a furloughed federal employee with expertise in certain areas and that you're currently available for short-term projects. People will want to help you. You know what I'm saying? So even if they normally would not have given you the time of day if you wasn't the victim of governmental politics, they will find a way to give you some kind of assistance to hook you up with something and then benefit from your efforts at the same time. This is how the rich keep money in their pocket. Next door is perfect for offering services directly to your neighbors, like tutoring or tech help. Nextdoor is the type of app where everyone in the neighborhood logs onto the same app. So when you post something on Nextdoor, you will be reaching out to people in, I don't know, 50 to 100 block radius of where you live, which makes getting the work done a lot easier because you ain't got that far to travel. You can walk your dog, stop by your client's house, and get some stuff done. Then you're going to start using direct outreach. If you have not already started picking up capital from all the stuff I've already talked about, do some direct outreach. Think about what businesses need your skills and send a short professional email to them. Simple subjects, short term, whatever skill you have, support, and then supply. Hi, my name is. I'm a local professional with expertise in whatever skill it is. As a furloughed federal employee, make sure you put that in there. I'm currently available for short term freelance projects. If you need any help with whatever special task you have, I'm available on a flexible basis. Let me know if you'd be open to a quick chat. Thanks. Put your name at the bottom of it, send it to them, see what they say. This multi pronged attack platforms, uh, networking, and direct outreach. This is going to be the fastest way to land paid work and provide a valuable skill that you already have that will bring you in a large quantity of income. And while you're waiting on some of these responses from some of these setups, you're already making money off of DoorDash, Uber Eats, Postmates, Instacart, all this other stuff. So you can see yourself immediately bouncing back off of the government shutdown just by taking the information I gave you off the first 2 hours of the show and putting that into action. He said tonight's menu is prime rib, mashed potatoes, salad, biscuit, and dessert, cherry pie, drone delivered. You keep saying that, but tonight's dinner is going to be a picture of prime ribs, mashed potatoes, salad, biscuit, and cherry pie as a dessert sitting in front of a Tupperware full of ramen noodles, water, and a season pack. Use your imagination. Number seven, we're going to do some asset flash sales. You're going to unlock cash from the clutter in your house. You ain't got shit to do till you start working. You can start selling extra shit in your house. Your home is probably full of dormant cash disguised as stuff you don't use. This is the final step about having a rapid asset flash sale. And this is one of the fastest ways to get the physical cash in your hand, often within hours. So, first, let's find out what you want to sell. We're not trying to empty the whole house. We're looking for things that are in demand and easy to sell. Grab a box and do a 60-minute sweep of your house and focus on electronics like old cell phones that are not cracked, that are not messed up, tablets, laptops, gaming consoles. Charge them up, make sure that they work. These hold their value very well. Just be sure to wipe all your personal data first, clean them up, dust them off, and then you can go and do what you got to do. Now, there are a plethora of ways that you can sell these. You can take it to a local pawn shop. They're not going to give you the value of them because they're going to resell them and make a profit, but you can get quick cash off of them if you did. You can post these up online, and depending on where you post them, like Facebook Marketplace, or eBay, it might sell same day, or it might sell in 5 or 6 months. It really depends on what you're selling versus the type of demand. But if you're really trying to get some quick cash right now, if you took some of these items at even at a reduced rate and took it to a local pawn shop or a thrift store, collector store, or something like that, you could sell it for a reasonable amount where you have a little bit of money in your pocket today. And that's going to be the cost of doing business to get rid of some of the stuff that you have, for a lower price for a guaranteed sale by driving down the street. If you're using Uber, etc., drone makes perfect sense. No gas, no time, having to pay for a bunch of employees. Well, you think that, but the problem with Uber is that you have to go into the restaurant, which requires you to open the door. And nobody's going to open the door for a drone. Then somebody has to manually attach the stuff to the drone. That's not going to work for you either because nobody's going to put stuff on a drone. Some, like Uber, require you to buy stuff using your Uber business card, and then they reimburse you with the Uber account. Now, the drone isn't going to make that payment. So maybe after you collected the stuff from the drone, or after you collect the stuff from the restaurant, you can tie everything off to the drone and use the drone to fly to the customer to drop off the food. But problem number 3 or 4 now is that the drone is not going to knock on the door. Then it once they open the door, because some people do no contact, and you have to leave it at the door. And if the drone isn't capable of dropping the stuff off and flying away, somebody has to detach the stuff from the drone, which means yet again you're going to be at the drone location to drop off the stuff and then fly back to the next one. All the effort it takes to load and unload onto the drone, you could have just whipped it in your car. Yeah, I'm the restaurant. I do all the cooking and place in the drone. Okay, so hypothetically, you set up a restaurant, you built you a customer base, you put the stuff on the drone, you fly the drone out there. There is a 75% chance that some people will keep the drone. Also, also, each drone has to be operated by a person because they don't make currently AI self-propelled drones that do not require manual control. Not that I know of. They might make them, but I am not aware of them yet. So and if they have them, they're expensive. I'm not saying this is a bad idea. This is a fantastic idea for you to start up. The drone knows where to drop off the food. The drone never lands. So the drone is going to take your food and drop it from the sky, and this is going to hit the ground. You had too much to drink tonight, Michael. Oh shit! All right, so back to helping y'all save some money after y'all did something with your electronics, brand name clothes, and accessories. Ladies, y'all got a bunch of shit y'all can sell in this area because your clothes, your shoes, your handbags that are all in good condition, all worth something. Fellas, go in your girl's closet and start cleaning all that shit out right now. You want to make sure that you take two of everything out the closet because she only need one, and I know she got an extra one just in case. Take all that stuff out the closet and go sell it. She gonna get mad, but that's okay. She gonna be eating. She ain't gonna go hungry. Now, when you start talking about furniture and home goods, some of the smaller pieces of furniture, like end tables and chairs that nobody really use, that's kind of in the way, kitchen appliances that you never use, and popular home decor laying around the house, it kind of looks like a good ornament, but it doesn't really do much. Put that stuff up for sale. And then when he says, don't go into her closet if you want to survive. Look, Kelly went into the closet before he caught them charges, and he came out with no problem. He actually had less problems than Bill Cosby. Now, Sporting goods and hobby gear. This is going to be the next thing that you sell. Bicycles that you never use, golf clubs, exercise equipment that you use to hang your laundry on, musical instruments that you had from college that you never play anymore. Get rid of that stuff. The kids, the kids' stuff, or the kids, whichever, anything that's been outgrown, gone. You sell the kids' toys, strollers, high chairs, big boy sets, uh, anything in demand, anything that you have bought for the kids way back in the day that they don't really do nothing with right now, that they're really not gonna admit, it's gone. It's gone. You can put the kids to work, have them out there in neighbor's yard cutting grass for some money. Team effort. And now, since you're selling this stuff fast, speed is going to be the priority. So we're going to be focusing on those local marketplaces for that quick cash. This is interesting because the king of the quick cash flip is going to be that Facebook marketplace. And this is where your number one tool is going to be utilized. It's free and has a huge local audience. And you can often sell something the same day, which increases your ability to make extra money. The perfect listing has photos of everything. Take a clean, well lit picture from a few different angles. Be honest about the condition. Set your price, search for similar items, and price yours competitively to sell fast, which is slightly lower than what everybody else is offering. You're not trying to be greedy, you're trying not to be homeless. Safety first, you want to arrange to meet in a public place if you're not going to ship this stuff to the person, like a parking lot of a busy supermarket or even your local police station. So whatever you're selling must be legal if you're going to go there. Always insist on uh I want to say cash, but you can always go there with your Square or if you got a PayPal account and do direct payments. That way you don't got to worry about being scammed. They wire you the money, Venmo it to you, Cash App it to you, Square it to you, whatever the case may be. Get your payment before they get the items. That way you don't get got. Now, the community option of Nextdoor, the for sale section on the Nextdoor app is another great choice. The audience is a lot smaller, but it is your actual neighbors, which can feel a little bit more secure. Number three is going to be the specialist platforms like Poshmark and OfferUp. OfferUp is actually pretty good. I used to use that one to sell things. If you go and get your items from Tampa Free Cycle, put them on OfferUp, you can buy the stuff, take a few dozen pictures of it, put it on OfferUp, and make you a shit ton of money, and potentially do it at the same day. The only problem that I have with OfferUp is that a lot of the people are not really serious about their purchases. They ask you a bunch of bullshit ass questions, and they're not really interested in making a sale. A good quality heavy lift drone would cost between $5,000 and $20,000 and can lift 88 pounds. You are not talking about an instant startup business uh that can help you during the government shutdown because $5,000 to $20,000 is what you're paying for your house until you can go back to work. I'm trying. That's a good idea for you to start up a business after the shutdown, or if you already have a stable income and you have an extra $5,000 or $10,000 and you want to use this drone thing to give your restaurant like a new like techie vibe to it. Then you can do that. Now, Poshmark, if you have good brand name clothes, this is the place to sell your clothes. Um, you ship the items instead of meeting up, which is better for you. It might not be as fast as local cash sales, but you can often get a better price. OfferUp is very similar to Facebook Marketplace, and it's worth posting your best items on both platforms to get more eyes on them. But don't forget about other assets too. Do you have any spare rooms? Because you can do short-term rentals on Airbnbs. Uh, and have a parking spot in a busy area. They can use your driveway if you rent that out as well. And a single weekend dedicated to an asset flash sale or garage sale. could bring in several $100s, even thousands of dollars or more in an immediate cash transaction. So that would kind of help you out with coming out of the shutdown. He said, sorry, I wasn't thinking of the shutdown. That's what the whole show. See, you got here late because I've been starting on time. I've been starting reasonably on time. You got here like 45 minutes after I started. Uh, I've been giving everybody ways for them to make themselves more money during the shutdown so that they don't got to be suffering. And after we cover the budget, now we're talking about ways for them to bring in money. You have a fantastic idea about how to start up a business. It's a new idea, and I think it would go over very well if all the precautions are in place. But it's not going to help you for the shutdown. It costs too much to start up. As soon as you said $5,000 to $20,000, that's like all your savings. You don't even have a customer base yet. He said, put in more work. Garage sales or estate sales. Well, there isn't really much of a difference between garage sales and estate sales besides the quality of the stuff. But when you were talking about estate sales, I was talking about offer up. I was talking about Tampa Free Cycle, and I was saying, oh, just like with your estate sales and your garage sales, if you go to Tampa Free Cycle, you can get stuff off of Tampa Free Cycle for free, and then you can sell it. So you're not buying it at the highest bidder. You can just go pick it up because they don't want it no more, and then sell it to whoever wants it. Best offer sales. You're still turning over profits because it costs you nothing but your time and your gas. Is there nowhere you're here on time? Are you okay? No, I wasn't technically on time because I was trying to start at the top of the hour and I started 10 minutes after the hour. So I wasn't technically on time. But because the clock is an hour back, instead of it being almost midnight, it is almost 11. And that means instead of me starting at 11:30, I can start at 11 on the dot Eastern Standard Time because technically when I was starting 30 minutes late from uh uh 11:30, it was starting at midnight when I was starting 30 minutes late. So what happens now is that I'm actually just starting on time because of daylight savings time. Where at 11 o'clock Central Standard Time, if I'm trying to start at 10 o'clock Central Standard Time or 10:30 Central Standard Time, that would have been 9:30 now. And if I'm starting at 10 instead of 9:30, instead of trying to squeeze in and get in there at 9:30, now I'm getting in there at 10. So that hour difference, you'd have been later than the motherfucker. That would work too. Yes, we're gonna get in there. Now, in this moment that your income gets frozen by the shutdown, while it's gonna be terrifying and it's gonna feel like the ground has just fallen from underneath you, we have walked through this whole afternoon where a loss of income does not have to mean a loss of control. By following the 7 steps that I gave you over the past 2 hours, you would move from defense to offense. So let's quickly recap the playbook. We started by securing your finances. You conducted the financial triage to know your exact cash position. You created a shutdown budget to slow down your spending way down. You proactively called your creditors and asked for help, and you learned to tap into your emergency resources in the right order. These moves build a financial fortress around you. Then we shifted to generating quick cash. You planned your gig economy sprint to turn your free time into fast income. You learn how to monetize your professional skills as a freelancer, and you executed an asset flash sale to turn household clutter into cash. Each of these is a deliberate action that puts you back in the driver's seat. This situation, as stressful as it is going to be temporary. I promise you. The shutdown will end eventually. Your pay will resume eventually. The goal of this playbook was to build a bridge to get you to that day without being buried in debt or having a ruined credit score. He said, put band-aid, band-aids on everything. You tripping. You ain't about to put that. You put that. That's gonna make it look like it's broke. That's gonna make it look like it's broke. You got your Build-A-Bear toy with an ace bandage on it. Battered plushie syndrome. By taking these actions, you have built that bridge. You've proven how resilient and resourceful you are. And this difficult experience can leave you with a new sense of financial empowerment that will last long after your paychecks are back to normal. To help you put this plan into action right away, make sure that you guys tiptoe into the membership, and we will be going over all of the stuff with the members on scripts for calling creditors, checklists of top side hustles to get you guys started, budgeting tips, templates, and sample tools to keep you guys organized. So all you got to do is just reach out and I'll get you guys that information. With that being said, I want to go ahead and say, ladies, as long as the situation doesn't make sense, I'm going to keep asking y'all to make it make sense. So, ladies, please make it make sense. Even with everything that's going on in the country right now with the government shutdown, I am still giving you guys this information that's going to aid you in becoming higher valued individual. All you have to do is proactively put the effort in order for you to make the changes that you need to be successful. Now, some of these things will be temporary until the shutdown is over, but there are other things that you can set up right now during the shutdown that could ultimately become an extra source of income after the shutdown is over. Where, if you're tired of experiencing shutdown pay stagnation, you can transition into working for yourself. It all depends on what you want to do with your life. So you got to think about this. And ladies, the information that I'm providing to the fellas is not exclusive to the men. You ladies can take this information and utilize it to make yourselves higher value women as well. You have to put forth the effort to make the changes in the life that you have that you are not satisfied with. And by changing the things that are inside of your control, you can alleviate a lot of the stress that you have in your life and then navigate around the things that you cannot control. That is way of life. So, with that being said, that's all I got for you guys for tonight's show. I want to thank you guys for coming to this and that. Special shout out to Michael. Special shout out to Steven, Mr. Pibbs, Danny Steffen. I really appreciate y'all for coming to the show on a regular basis. Mr. Satellite, Bayside. I remember Carl and Usman. I want to give a special shout out to y'all and Bangladesh for throwing out a lot of views on us. I really appreciate y'all. I'm your host, Xander, where we talk about this, that, and everything in between. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Chase validation, now I validate myself. That's my personal command. I'm not mounted on higher ground where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds, raising the bar, breaking ground. I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision, cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield to mediocrity and chaos. I will never I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision, cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield to mediocrity and chaos. I will never yield.